Hey, y'all, you're listening to the Chicken Fried Women podcast with me, your host, Melissa Radke, the original recipe. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to the Chicken Fried Women podcast. Let me tell you why I'm really excited about today, because today's guest is what Chicken Fried Women has always been about in my mind when we came up with this idea. Of course, the Chicken Fried Women podcast is based off of my book, Chicken Fried Women, that will be everywhere you can buy books on April 22nd. But when we had the idea for the podcast, what I wanted was the women, the real women, the normal average woman that I like to go shopping with and eat Mexican food with, and that are my girlfriends. I wanted those kind of women that watch me or follow me online to write in and say, Melissa, I'm going to come on your podcast, girl, because I've got a story. That was what this whole podcast was supposed to be about. It wasn't supposed to just be me and my mama, okay? And today's guest is our first one like that. So if you are listening or watching today and you're like, well, I got a story I can share that has laid all my girlfriends out in the floor for years, let us know, Melissa at Melissa Radke. We would love to hear from you. But we're going to jump right in with today's guest, Shanna Keith. Hello, Shanna.
Hello.
I am so happy to have you. First of all, tell me this. I don't know you. You and I have never met. In fact, she can tell you as soon as she popped on, I went, don't say anything. Don't say anything. I like to just meet people very naturally in the moment. So tell me how this came to be, you being on the show today.
Okay, well, I've followed you for years, actually, because years ago, you posted this hilarious thing about Red Ribbon Week.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I can't tell you how many people tagged me or sent me and said, she is you. You are her.
Shut up.
I'm not kidding. I am not.
Bless your heart.
She is the blonde Southern version of you. And I was like, is it because a lot of things irritate me and I like to, like, what is it, right? Because Red Ribbon Week, you and I, simpatico.
You hate it. You hate it too.
I can't with the Red Ribbon Week. I can't with the Dr. Seuss Week. Like, come on, you know.
That is also near Halloween week. So we also have to dress them up for Halloween. Like, if you guys don't know what Red Ribbon Week is, it is this week. I don't know if schools everywhere do it, but it's for the week. We dress our kids up like a different character every day so that they will learn to say no to drugs. Tell me how in the world that works. I don't know. Now, my kids are now 16 and 18. They don't dress up anymore. What about yours?
Okay, so my family, I'm actually an Anna. I have grandbabies.
Okay.
So I have a 25-year-old and she's married, has 2 kids. I have a 20-year-old. And then for whatever reason, God said, you know what, let's just reevaluate life real quick. And 9 years later, I had a little boy. And the story surrounding him is probably what I'm going to tell you. But then not even 2 years after that, I had another one.
Shanna, good Lord, don't you know what causes this?
Listen, when you hear the backstory of these children being consummated, you're going to be like, oh, okay, I get it.
First of all, do I want to hear a story about your children being consummated?
Oh, yeah. PG story.
Okay.
My mom's going to watch this. Maybe, probably.
Very true.
Right, so PG. Anyway, so they're little boys. So I have 3 boys and a girl. They're the light of my life, of course.
Of course.
In fact, I actually just took my son. He left on our church does missions. I'm sure you've seen the cute little elders with black name tags. Have you seen them missionaries?
Are you LDS?
Sure am.
Why do all the LDS people love me and I love them? What is the deal?
You know what? Because we're God-loving, life, speculating folks, right? Like, because we see each other. And I love that you love God, but I love that you also get that God probably has a sense of humor. So it's okay if you make fun of things.
He didn't probably. have a sense of humor. He definitely does.
Yes. Yes. So
Okay.
anyway,
Tell
I
me,
just dropped him off.
Are you from the Utah area?
I am. Yep.
Where are you from?
So I am just like 5 minutes north of Salt Lake City.
Okay, I got to tell you something, girl. David and I had to speak in Salt Lake City a couple of years ago. They flew me in. I spoke at this big event, and then we had like a day to, after I spoke that morning, we had the rest of the day to just play. I realized that Salt Lake City is one of the most beautiful, cleanest places I've ever been. And we asked someone, where is a good place to eat? And they sent us to this Italian restaurant. And I can't remember the name of it, but it is the best Italian food I've. Oysters.
Oh, oyster. No. Oh my gosh. I have a gift card there that I haven't used yet for my sweet sister-in-law.
If you have a gift card there, you got to use it.
Okay.
It is I think it's like Oysters. I could be very wrong. Anyway,
yes,
it is the best Italian food. So now David and I look for any reason at all to go to Utah. And we're like, literally
visit.
To come to Salt Lake City, we will go for it. If you have an organization that needs a speaker in Salt Lake City, so I'd like to volunteer as tribute. So you're from a really beautiful part of the country. And do you think that people think that you're the blonde me because you're outspoken and you've got a big mouth?
And because probably we are well-fed gals that don't give a rat's about that.
We are called corn-fed in the South.
See, I'm potato-fed because my dad, they were actually potato farmers in Idaho. I have Idaho potato farmer blood.
I knew there was a reason why when you were talking, I just could feel you in my spirit.
It's the potatoes.
It's potatoes. Okay. I want to know the story that you came on to tell today. Make me laugh, make me holler, make me go, what in the heck?
Okay. So first of all, I was going to give you like, okay, what are you feeling today? Are you feeling like hilarious? Are you feeling like funny with a touch of real? And then I was like, nah, I gotta tell the story that truly people are like, there's no way. Right. Okay. So like I said, my husband and I, high school best friends, turned sweethearts, God said, I think it's time for you guys to start a family. So we did. And then life happened, right? So we had these two, my daughter and my son. They're 5 years apart. I knew from the get-go I could never be a close proximity mama with kids because I just can't. It's not my thing.
You're talking like stair steps. Like I have 3 kids. They're 1, 2, and 3. You couldn't do that.
Can't do that. No. Plus, so here's the other reason. I am a preschool teacher. I own a preschool. I've taught preschool for 24 years. So I handle 20-ish 3 to 5 year olds. Right. So I was like, okay, I'm retiring. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
So I have these 2, a boy and a girl. Like, right. I kind of feel complete because, to be honest, God kind of sent both of them when he felt necessary. There was no plan on my end. Okay. So anyway, we have these 2 beautiful kids living life. Then we kind of decided, you know what, maybe we want another kid. And my son is 8 at this time. So we kind of start trying, right? Trying. It just didn't happen. And we're like, hey, whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's not the plan. So we kind of let go of it, live life. Then all of a sudden I find out I'm pregnant. So we're like, holy cow, great, right? So we go get ultrasounds. They find out it's a girl. So of course I'm excited. We have a name for her. She's Tessa. We call her Tessa the entire pregnancy, okay? So I'm like 32-ish, 33-ish weeks along, and I start getting sick. And I have really easy pregnancies. I don't get sick, okay? So I had been on a youth conference with the youth in my church. And I came home and I was just itchy. So I call some of the other leaders and I'm like, are you itchy? Could we have got bed bugs from this camp? Itchy, just itchy. And they're like, no, I'm not itchy. So I'm like, okay. So a few days go by and my son was doing French immersion at the school. So he was learning French. So he had this French concert. So we went to it and my doctor put me on bed rest just because my blood pressure was high and stuff. But I go to this French program and we're watching and my brother's there and my brother's like, Shan, your eyes are yellow, like yellow. And I was like, so we go home and within like time frame wise, it's kind of a blur. I'll be honest because a lot happened. But I'm itchy, my blood pressure's high, I'm yellow, I feel weird. We go to the doctor. This was like June, the end of June or something. So I go to the doctor and my doctor is the sweetest. He's been my doctor since I was a little girl, right? Like the funniest, love him. So we go in and he's like, yeah, something's going on with you. And so he's like, let's check the baby, see how it looks. So he checks and he's like, baby's head is there. You need to go to the hospital. And I'm like, okay. So I kind of freak out. My husband's like, it's going to be all right. We pack a bag. We go to the hospital. I get to the hospital. They're like, hey, come in. Let's check you. They check me. Baby has flipped. No more head there. So we're like, okay. And they're like, you know what? While you're here, let's check you out, see what's going on. So this was July 1st. Okay. So they start running tests. There, so many people coming in and out. I'm still itchy. I'm still yellow. And they come in, they're like, we think you have this thing called fatty tissue liver disorder. Which
I've heard of that.
Right? Because I don't have a gallbladder and it's common in whatever. And they're like,
I would say it's common. It's most common in the potato and corn fed family.
I mean, yeah, right.
Okay.
So I love that. So they do all these tests and he's like, the good news is the cure is you have the baby. And then your body's like, okay, we've got space. We function again. No problem whatsoever. So they're running all these tests and this doctor keeps saying all these things. Coincidence. Well, what a coincidence that you've come in right now. What a coincidence we're catching this. So finally they're like, somebody throws the cancer word out. All of a sudden, this fatty tissue liver disorder thing is replaced with and my doctor comes in and he's like, I got to be honest, they're using the C word. And I was kind of like, what? Excuse me? So this other doctor, this hospitalist, I think they're called, he keeps finding things and saying they're coincidences. And we know that they're God's intervention in what's happening. Of course. Right?
Of course.
So about the 7th or 8th time he said coincidence, my husband they're not coincidences. They just from God. Yeah. Like, my husband is just like staunch, like he just, right? So it was really sweet. So anyway, so many other things happened. They came in and they did an x-ray of my liver. And it just so happened the lady doing the x-ray was one of my good friend's moms, which was a blessing because I was pretty nervous, right?
Of course.
And so she's doing this x-ray and she's like, have they ever said that you have cancer? Has anybody ever said that you had cancer? And I was like, no. And at that point, I don't actually know that they had said that yet. Because when she said that, I was like, oh, it's probably one of those routine things like, have you ever had this? Have you traveled out of the country? Right? So anyway, she does this thing. She gives me a big hug and leaves. I guess she called her daughter on the way home that night sobbing. She's got cancer. Just.
Okay, she broke the HIPAA law.
Oh, so many laws. So many laws.
She broke HIPAA. Okay, but we're not going to bring that up right now, but go ahead.
But you're right. And if I didn't love her, maybe I'm too. I don't know.
You go. Hospital. Okay, go ahead.
Right. Hey. So then they end up doing a liver biopsy, which they tell me, like, this is going to be bad. This is going to hurt like hell.
Really?
And I'm like, oh, cool. Because they take like a hollow needle, put it into your body, in your liver, and like extract part of your liver to test it. So I go to do this horrendous thing. And I go in there and I'm terrified. I'm not good in medical situations, by the way. Like I pass out when I'm having my blood drawn type person. Not good. So I'm in there. getting this liver biopsy. The nurse comes in. She's like, hey, I'm Shanna. I'm going to be your nurse. I'm like, excuse me? And she's like, yeah, my name's Shanna. And I was like, my name's Shanna. And she was like, 1 N or 2? And I was like, 2. And she was like, no way, I have 2 N's, which that's very weird. So anyway, we're doing this liver biopsy and they're like, hey, just prepare. So this Shanna gives me her hand. I'm squeezing it. And they're doing this. And all of a sudden, little Tessa and me just starts going crazy. She's dancing. She's doing backflips. And we are just laughing like, apparently she feels violated in some way. This needle's coming in her space or whatever. I didn't feel a thing. I did not feel the liver biopsy. Baby kicking, dancing, whatever. It may have.
Here's the thing, but surely you were just distracted by the baby because they've said it's going to be so painful.
So painful. But yeah, I was completely distracted.
What?
I didn't feel a thing.
Hey, did you know that the Chicken Fried Women podcast is being brought to you by my new book, Chicken Fried Women, coming out April 22nd? I have a question for you. Have you pre-ordered it yet? Go to Amazon.com or wherever you buy books and order one for you and your bestie and your mom and your college roommate. You get what I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. Okay.
We go back in. So this is like July. So between July 1st and July 3rd, every test run, right? Every blood work, whatever. So it's the morning of July 4th. And I still hadn't gotten the results of the biopsy. And I'm laying in bed. And all of a sudden, I feel this like peeing my pants sensation, which my water had never broke on the other baby's case. And the nurse comes in and I'm like, okay, I'm either peeing my pants just like involuntarily or my water's broken. So she comes and checks and she's like, I don't know. So they like test it and they're like, yeah, your water broke. So they had already told me that more than likely I'd have to have a C-section because they were going to try to get the baby out of me early anyway, right? And at this point, Tessa is coming early. So they wheel me into the room to do a C-section, which of course I've heard is just horrific. My other 2 were not C-sections. And so I'm hunched over on the table getting my spinal block, you know, and my cute doctor hugs me and he's like, I just need you to know you have cancer. Like I just got the pathology report back and you have cancer. Like,
that's when they told you?
Yeah. And at first I'm like, what the heck, man? Like, I'm about But
oh my word.
Later, he told me the reason why was because he knew, like, the second they got that baby out of me, it was like go time and I was going to be surrounded by doctors and he didn't want that to be the way I found out. He wanted to tell me. So obviously I'm like in shock laying there doing the C-section. And I think I probably just like went to another world because I was just laying there like, and then he's like, okay, baby's out. It's a boy. And me and my husband kind of like,
you cannot take any more in this day.
So he's like, and we thought he was joking because again, he's a funny guy. But I have had an ultrasound at almost every single appointment telling me it was a girl.
Miss a penis, Shanna.
That's what I was saying. So here's what I think. I think that again, God was like, look, she's about to receive a lot. Let's throw in just a touch of humor. Swap. Let's make this horrendous situation just a little bit funny for her.
Yeah, let's make this life-threatening illness a little bit comical. And honestly, it like, oh God, I love stories like this. Okay, because the truth of the matter is, there is a reason why that was a boy and not a Tessa. There is a reason.
For sure.
God knows what we need. Okay, keep going. I'm so sorry.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. So anyway, I actually was like, okay, funny, Dr. Wilson. And my husband's like, no, it's a boy. And I think I said out loud. And if I didn't, I was like, this is the stupidest day ever. I was just like, A, I have cancer. And B, it's a boy. This is the stupidest day ever. This is stupid. What?
Okay, first of all, can I just say this really quickly? Give me a Baptist, they're gonna be cursing out. They're gonna be cursing in that room. Give me a Methodist, they're gonna be shooting a finger at a doctor. But you give me a Mormon, you give me an LDS, they're like, this is a really stupid day.
Okay, well, to be fair, I am definitely a PG-13 gal when it comes to language. Just ask the girls I play pickleball with, who may I say, one of them texted me today and said, don't swear. Don't swear on.
Okay, let her know. She's doing good. Pickleballers, she's doing good. Okay, keep going.
They know me too well. So anyway, they take baby away. We don't even have a name for the little guy. Where he, like I said, he's early. He's pretty early, but he was still like almost 6 pounds. He was a big guy.
Wow.
And so they take him away, and I am just spinning. I'm just I don't know what way is up, and they take me out, and then it's a blur. They tell me that I'm going straight up to the cancer floor. So the 8th floor of this hospital happens to be one of the main places that they treat blood cancer. So it ended up that I had lymphoma, stage 4 lymphoma.
Oh, Shanna.
Anyway, I go straight up to the, anyway, there was a lot of emotion, right? Like a lot of emotion. Cancer has been one of my biggest fears my entire life.
Sure.
So, I mean, everybody, right? Like everybody. But anyway, so I go up to the 8th floor, and all of a sudden, I'm no longer a new mom. I'm a cancer patient. Like, it was just, it was.
Which I cannot
bizarre.
imagine at this point. I can't imagine the feeling of wanting to hold that baby, wanting to be near that baby. Because in a way, you had to have felt like you haven't even bonded with him. You had bonded with her. I mean, it had to be.
Me and Tessa were tight.
Yeah.
But that was the other thing. We didn't even have a name for him. I mean, so we named him Kaden. And then about maybe a day later, my husband comes in and he's like, I don't think he's a Kaden. I think he's a Kaden. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't know. He's going to be Kaden.
You're like, I don't care. I have cancer.
Yeah. I'm like, cancer, Kaden, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went with Kaden, and we named it. His middle name is Philip, which is my husband's, my father-in-law's name, who passed away. And so little Kaden Phillips down there. And so they just start doing everything to me. So mind you, I just had a C-section. And I don't know what a C-section entailed, right? Because I had never had one. And they're trying to see if the cancer cells will respond to this or whatever. So they give me this crazy steroid, and I gained like 23 pounds in 24 hours. I looked like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Mom. Like, it was awful. And then they give me this drug called Lasix, which makes you pee, because they wanted to get the stuff out of me as quick as they put it in. Well, if you give someone who can't really move well something to make her pee, she's gonna pee.
She pees on herself.
All the places. The places. So it was an exciting time.
Yeah.
I was transported to a different hospital to have like a PET scan to see where things were. And I had to ride in an ambulance, and I'm, full of steroid and pee and medicine to make me pee. And that was horrific. And then we go, and they diagnosed me with a certain kind of lymphoma. And they put in a little port thing, right, to give me the medicine. And then the next day they came in, they're like, actually, we were wrong.
What?
You actually have a different kind. We're going to have to take that out.
Okay.
And put in a bigger one, because it's a little more severe than we thought. So now I have these two, you can't really see them, these two cool scars, these things up here from where these ports were. And this cute doctor comes in, and she's just telling us stuff and stuff. My husband's just soaking it, because he's the information guy, right? And she's just telling us all this stuff. I had gone from, my treatment was going to be outpatient. I'd go in and I'd have like a 2 or 3 week break, and I'd go in again. So then they changed it to inpatient, where I would be in the hospital for up to 9-10 days at a time.
Wow.
And then I would come home and rest and let my body basically recoup or die. I don't know what it was doing. And then go back again for like months.
Yeah.
And I had these other kids at home and this baby. And I'm like, how do I do months of inpatient chemo? Like, this isn't doable. And so she's giving us all this information. And I pull my covers over my head and I scream, I don't want any more information. Get out. Like, I'm done. You know, my husband's kind of like, all right, she's been through a lot few days. Like, don't mind her, right? She's okay. So anyways, so yeah, they do that, and my cute little guy downstairs is just killing it. He's gaining weight and he's doing all the things he's supposed to do. And they called him the biggest little baby in the NICU because he's a big guy. And so he was in there for weeks. I can't remember how many.
But you're sitting here talking to us. What is get to the part where we win.
I won. So I went through all the inpatient. I did all the things. And he will turn 12 on July 4th.
Okay, but okay, so I have questions. First of all, how did you bond with him if you were gone so much?
Well, he was right. He was down on the NICU in the same hospital. So, well,
first year you're going in for 8, 9, 10 days at a time.
Yes. I ended up, they hit me hard and fast with that chemo. Things that regularly would knock a grown man down, they said they would give me. And I was great. Yeah. Like, things they said would make me hallucinate, which I was kind of looking forward to. I was like, yeah, give me that stuff, right? I breezed through it. I just did the dang thing.
Yeah, you did.
And I was out by October. And so then...
When did you realize you were in remission?
Well, so technically you're in remission as soon as they run a PET scan and there's no, what did it say? And they do blood work and it's like, no cancer cells visible. And so that happened in October and I was ecstatic. Like,
oh my word.
No
from
cancer
stage cells. From stage 4 to in remission by October.
Yeah.
All of this. But here's what, okay, so many things are blowing my mind. One of which is, I wonder, had you not been pregnant,
I would have died.
They would have died.
They told me that because it's the most aggressive form of lymphoma you can have. And it actually, the hormones from being pregnant sped it up so that it was visible so soon that they caught it. Had I not been pregnant, I would have died. They would not have caught it in time.
Golly.
So he's a stinker, but he's my little lifesaver.
He is a lifesaver.
No, he's a sweetheart. Random ending is they told me I would go into menopause because chemo was basically chemo frying my eggs. And I had to sign something saying I was okay with that. And I was like, well, yeah, I just had a baby like yesterday. So I'm good, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward to about a year later, and I hadn't had any regular periods, and I start not really missing, but just not having a period, and I'm emotional, and I'm like, here it is, welcome menopause, right? So I go into my gynecologist, and I'm like, it's here, this is menopause. And he does the ultrasound, and he's like, no, actually, you're pregnant.
Sweet Lord in heaven.
So I start bawling because my life, I'm not even a year out of chemo and my life is insane. And I just barely have a 1-year-old. And he's like, you're like probably 3 months pregnant. And
your body is the weirdest thing I have ever heard.
I'll tell you what, so I have another little boy named Mason, and he is what my kids all kind of look like me, but he is me. Like, he has my features. My hair is actually naturally curly. He has this curly little hair, and he's this little chubby cherub, like, and he's naughty. He's so naughty, but he's so cute. And he is the completion of our family, and these two little guys have each other. And
wow,
I can't imagine our family without him, as naughty as they are.
as naughty as they are.
We cannot, they are.
I have to think you were pretty naughty to have deserved all of this.
Here's the thing. I was, in fact, the bishop's daughter who made some choices.
Okay,
So when you say we have a Mormon on here, this and this, yeah, probably not.
Oh my God.
We definitely took a road. I'll tell you that, my husband and I. We took a road. That straight and narrow road won't so straight and narrow for us. But here we are, almost 25 years. Shoot. But yeah, I can't remember, 25, 26, something. Here we are, happier than ever, literally happier than ever, loving our life and being, like you said, exactly like what you said. It changed the
trajectory. It did.
Yeah, for sure. So, but I mean, we really have, we've had addiction. We haven't had infidelity. We're pretty rock solid, but we've had pretty much everything you could have.
Yeah.
And have clung to each other. But I will say the women in my life, especially my mom, I mean, she has the rock. She was the mom the whole time I was going through chemo. She had my baby. She had my babies. She got them to soccer and dance and basketball. You know what I mean? Like she,
of course she did. Mm-hmm.
When I
mommed the heck out of that.
Oh,
that's right.
She is super mom.
I was going to ask you who your women were. Oh, who were the women that rallied around
my
you?
sister, my sister-in-laws, my neighborhood. Oh, my neighborhood. They brought dinner every night.
Wow.
You want stuff handled, you call the Mormons. I tell you what, they have dinner. We're not Mormons. We are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Thank you very much.
See, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know the right way to say it.
You're good. And we do only have the one wife.
Oh, got it. I figured.
Although I will say, I wouldn't mind a couple here or there. You know, pick up some slack. There are some areas
that's a whole nother podcast.
Well, you need to get there. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, these women in my neighborhood that just buoyed our family up. And again, they did the things like they came in, they cleaned my house. I say my village.
Truly, absolutely. I believe that.
Village. And they have come through again and again.
When the women have to women, they do it.
They do.
When they are called up, it's like, I don't know what it is about us. God just made us that way. But when we are called up to hold up the arms of someone who can't, they just can. That is the most miraculous story. And I have to say this for everyone that's listening. I want to wind down our time with something right here that I was just thinking. The last chapter in my book is called Last Woman Standing. And I couldn't help but think about this chapter as Shanna was talking, because we are going to have women on here that tell hilarious stories. And we're going to have some that tell gripping stories. And we're going to tell some that have emotional stories. And the reason is because women carry so much. I mean, we can do so much. Our bodies can do so much. We are so powerful. And I don't really say that today in a girl power kind of way, but in a really spiritual, holy kind of way. And listening to Shanna tell this story reminded me of this chapter. And I wanted to end with this. But before I do, I just want to say, Shanna, talking to you has been a little bit like talking to myself. I have absolutely loved having you. You have to come back next time and tell a hysterical story.
Okay.
But
I can do that.
you have to. But the one today was just so true about who we are as women. And I wrote this in the book. Don't get me wrong. Men are wonderful. The men in my family cannot be replaced. But so many of them have left us now. They have gone on, and heaven is sweeter with them there, yes. But we, the women, are here, still going, still living, still working, still planting, still raising, still making a home, still loving a family, still. We are here, still, and the women remain.
Love it.
And that is how I feel about this story. Through it all, Shanna, you, the woman, the beast, remain. Thank you so much for being on here today. It's been absolutely wonderful. Oh, you guys, I've loved this story. I've loved the power of a woman, the power of pregnancy, the power of a moment to literally almost kind of crush us, but instead it emboldens us and changes the history of our family. I love that. The women remain, and Shanna is proof of that. Thanks so much for listening to Chicken Fried Women, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for being here today, where we get to talk about our friendships and our kinships and the stories that made us this way. Till next time.